Hey guys, it's Grizzly here. I woke up the other day and decided I wanted to be a better survivor at Dead by Daylight. So what I ended up doing was hiring a coach off Fiverr. Now I've recorded the coaching session and I'm going to compile what I learned from that session into this video here. So hopefully you guys will be able to take something away from this and improve your own gameplay. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, consider subscribing, it helps me. And yeah guys, enjoy the video and let's get into it. The first part of the session was to optimize our settings. So you'll see us doing that here. Now, obviously you don't need to change these settings. These are more of a quality of life type of change. They're not going to be groundbreaking. They're not going to improve your gameplay drastically or anything like that. It's just going to help you with things like audio quality, seeing certain textures better, making it so that the grasses on grassy maps aren't as thick and stuff like that, so you can see Chucky easier. So don't get me wrong, you don't need to change these, but it is here. I wanted to include this in the video just in case you do want to change it. So if you do, just go in, have a look at what he's putting in all of the values, change those values accordingly, right? And then from there, just get out, save the file, restart Dead by Daylight, and those changes should take effect. Now with the engine file, there is something that you have to add, like a piece of code. I honestly don't know what it does, but he recommended it, so I went ahead and did that. Unfortunately, I can't provide too much more information on what it does. I don't think it's gonna mess your game up or anything like that, but yeah, just be cautious as well, guys. All right, so to get into the settings, what you want to do is first type run in here on your taskbar. Now go in here and type app data % or %app data %. Okay. Now it may take you straight into the roaming file. If it does, that's fine. Just go back to app data here and into local. Now you want to find Dead by Daylight and into that. Then into the save folder and into config. Now, depending on what you play on, so if you play on the Xbox launcher, Steam launcher, whatever it is the folder that you want to check here. So it'll be different depending on what you play for. I don't know what it's going to be for the Xbox launcher, but if you play on Steam, just go into Windows Client. Now, the two files that you want to look at is engine and game user settings, okay? So go into both of them, select them both by holding Control, go into properties, and just make sure that read only is unchecked. Now, if that's unchecked, just go OK. And all you want to do is go in and open with Notepad, and this will open up. And this will allow you to change the settings that you need to. All right. So for that, just watch the video, pause it, and you'll be able to see what you need to change. All right. Then when you're done, just press save and get out. Do the same thing with engine, and you're good to go. All right, now the second thing we went on to talk about was something called filters. Again, unfortunately, this doesn't apply to console players. This is only for PC players. Now, what filters is basically post-processing graphics effects. So basically, all it is stuff like changing the contrast, the gamma, the saturation of the game in order to make certain colors pop. So it's basically a filter like you would see on Instagram, Snapchat, that enhances the colors of things like the red stain, which I find to be very beneficial. Now, when speaking to Simplex, I did ask him if this is considered cheating, if behavior have a negative stance towards this. He assured me that there's nothing wrong with this in your day-to-day play. I didn't really get into professional play or anything like that, but you should be okay to run this. Again, you don't need to, but it is just a quality of life thing that helps you along the way. So I'll show you how to install that now. Basically, all you want to do is you want to come up here to a website called reshade.me. Go into download. Now, download Reshade 6.01. Right, it's like a 3 megabyte file, happens instantly. Open that up, it's an executable. Was all good with my antivirus, so no issue like that. You're gonna come into Dead by Daylight Win64 shipping, or the equivalent. If you're on Mac, it'll probably have something to do with Mac there. Right, press next. Okay, now I've already done this. I guess I'll do it again just to show you guys. For me, it was Microsoft DirectX 11. For most of you, it's probably going to be that too. You press next. Update Reshade. Well, this is an update, so this may be different for you guys. Just use some common sense and try and figure out which one this is. It'll probably just be like install reshade, something like that. Right. Okay, press finish. All good. Okay, so that's just updated mine, but that will obviously install it for you. What will happen, right, is you'll go into Dead by Daylight, and what you should have is something up the top here that looks similar to that. Now, it went away for me. It's loaded before, but what will happen is it'll take a while to load the first time. It may take roughly, you know, a couple of minutes. Just don't touch it. Leave it. Let it run its course. Right. And then you'll come in. Now, all you have to do to get into the software once you're in is press home above your arrow keys on your keyboard, and that'll open up this here. Right. So once you're in here, look, this is where it gets a little bit complicated, and I can't exactly remember how to figure it out. But what I would recommend is going to a YouTube video and just having a look. It is quite simple. I just can't remember how to do it, guys, so I do apologize for that. But look up Reshade on YouTube, how to use it in regards to Dead by Daylight. And all it does, right, is it applies these filters here. So I've got one applied already, which is the one I use for most maps. And I have map specific ones as well. So stuff like Dead Dog, which will change it altogether. So it makes the reds pop more on Dead Dog, because like Dead Dog is obviously quite a... the colors are already quite red, so this makes the reds just pop a little bit more, and this helps you to identify the killer. It helps you in chases and looping and stuff like that. Like I said, not considered cheat, absolutely not necessary. You don't need to get it, but I found that it has helped me. So if you want to grab it, go ahead and get it from reshade.me. Not sponsored or nothing like that. Just, yeah, good bit of software. So next up, after the settings and the filters, was for me to go into a game, show the coach what I was capable of. Due to the fact that this is basically me just playing a game, it's nothing special, and trust me, you're not missing out on anything. I'm not going to show too much of it, but what we will get into is the custom game where he explained how I can get better and some of the tips we ran through.
So we're all like more stable. So anyways, let me go exactly to the position that you were, which was right next to the glass room, on this cubic right here. So the structure in particular, I don't think it's exactly the same room, but position is. So basically you were here and you're doing like left, right,
yeah.
You're doing like move on, trying to see like from the edge.
Yep.
Now, however, if you do this, imagine that the plague will actually happen to just appear like from one of the sides at the same time that you're running into her.
Yeah.
Now, if you eventually sort off the door frame and you see her, by the time that you like react to go away, to take her somewhere else to loop, you're not gonna reach any in time before she can attack. So basically, well, the best position, or the technical best position to be, exactly right here at the middle, and then you just use your camera to look like left, right, because if she appears from the left, you can do right. This cycle back into the room. Or in this case, no, because it's closed, but in the other variation it wasn't. But or if she comes like from the right, you can like just do this into the room, or you can even go like from here if she appears on the left. You are here, if she comes from the left, you can even go like back to classroom, or you can go to this filler palette here, like whatever. Whichever decision you take, it's like better than what you were doing back there, basically. So, and just to prove you my point from the guaranteed spawns on this map, let me go upstairs to show you the gen that you skipped. That will always be there, by the way. Doesn't matter how many times we restart this map. Once you go upstairs and you take a left there, the map's gonna always be there. So let me just go here because it's quicker. Now, of course, it's gonna take you some time until you get the layout of the maps in the palm of your hand. That's technically like the ideal goal. Like after like knowing the map. So this is the gen you skipped, and here you have the drop, which just puts you like in the middle of like this hallway, which the girl is crossing by. You're gonna hit like automatically. However, in these new walk-ins, when you drop here, you have 1 option, 2 options, 3 options to take the killer to loop him, or even 4 options actually. You can go back into the palette. So this drop is kind of unsafe because it's a drop, but it's technically safe if you drop it enough distance, because you are able to reach like every single possible aspect you want to choose to loop the killer. You have a filler palette, you have a room into like synchronized palette with a generator tile, you have this palette with a window above. And then of course you have like the really safe pallet like behind you right here.
Yep.
So technically doing that generator isn't as dangerous as it might seem. The dangerous part is tracking that radius and understanding where the killer is coming from.
Yep.
That's technically the hardest part, but again that will come later with game sense. But naturally that generator is like realistically only unsafe if you're playing as a self killer.
Yeah,
Because
because
if
you don't
not,
know
the
when he's
moment the killer
coming.
is like underneath you, you can just hear tear radius and already adapt to that positioning.
Yep.
Now next was the Red Forest Mother Dwelling, so this one. Yeah, whenever you're ready, you can ready up. Now one particular thing that I noticed back when you were looping this Ghostface is the fact that you relied so much on the windows of opportunity that even while you're doing like laps that you're supposedly looking at the killer to see what he's doing,
Yeah.
you are more worried with knowing what you have around you
Yeah.
to quote unquote abuse your windows, which is fine.
Yeah.
However, the timings at where you were doing that was what was preoccupying me a little bit. That's the first thing. The second one, or sorry, the real first thing that I took notes on this game was the macro mistakes survivors taking roles part. So basically, there's this thing in the game now that they actually improved over time, which is the survivor's UI. So right now it's not going to be able to show you much because I'm the only survivor in this match. But basically it's this thing like to the left. Let me... because basically if you look at it, it's going to tell you which survivor is getting chased, or if no one's getting chased, it's going to tell you which survivors are doing generators and which survivors aren't. Like see, like
Yeah.
even I can see like my own status and the other teammates can. The same way that the teammates will see if I'm like destroying a totem or opening a chest. There's no chest here. Well, that's the first time I've seen it. Anyway, but if I'm like opening a chest or whatever, it will appear on the UI. And most importantly, if I'm being chased or if any survivor is being chased by a killer, even though they don't have the obsession tentacles, new tentacles will appear moving, saying that this survivor is being chased. And basically, the mistake you did in that game, I can bring the video back just so you see what I mean more in detail. This is one, I think. Exactly. So back here, when you were, what is it? I think it was on the second hook. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so you saved this girl. You went after her to see like if she wanted to heal, but when she was walking away from you, it was clear that like she was not gonna like want to get healed. And keep in mind that at this current moment, if you look at the survivor UI, let me change the drawing to adapt to where it is in your game. So it's right here, right?
Yeah.
So you have yourself, then you have random number 1, random number 3, 2, and random number 3. So basically, this survivor, the total mayhem guy, is the obsession, which nowadays isn't really even like says much about anything about the killer. But if that's moving, means that the killer is chasing him, which, by the way, if you look at it, it's moving. So the killer is chasing that survivor. Plus she's injured, plus she hasn't been hooked. And right now, if you look at the remaining of the scenario, you have one of your teammates injured, another of the other teammates injured that's gonna waste time going like into a toolbox, whatever, or trying to open a chest to get whatever, even though it's just gonna be a toolbox. So it's just total chaos right now, because the only healthy survivor not being realistically pressured by the killer, it's you. However, the issue in the scenario is that you're trying to like to really heal this girl, even though it took you some time to realize that she didn't want to get healed. Now that she got dead, that the killer killed her, or downed her, the total mayhem guy, you are doing this generator now. Of course, you'll see now if I pause the video that this Michaela is doing. Okay, this was a very horrible frame to pause. Okay, so if you look at the UI now, you'll see that like Michaela is doing a totem. This girl was doing a chest and is now going back to your gen to help you do it. They are still both injured, you are healthy, and this girl is on a hook, which means it's like the first thing to come up on your head should be, okay, I gotta save that survivor because I'm the only one healthy, the other ones are injured, so it's more risky for them to go save than to me. However, what you do is that you did the gen, blah blah blah. Eventually, someone else saved because Ghostface actually ran a total opposite direction. However, the save came so late that the survivor got to second stage, and almost all three of the second stage when he got saved. So even though it was the first hook of Yunjin, he's already dead on a hook because no one saved her in time. And the reason why they didn't save her in time, if we go back, if you pay attention to the Survivor UI again, you will notice that the girl was like self-healing, this Michaela or whatever. Then she decided to save this girl, and then the other girl, he finished healing because she was like almost healed up. So this whole section could be perfectly avoidable, or avoidable, whatever. If we just went to save her instead of like making like Michaela do that. Now the whole other section of I mean, you are not punished because this killer couldn't know how to play better. But it's this particular chase segment. Let me just mute my game because the crows are blasting my eardrums. But anyway, so this chase is the other like segment which I became a little bit preoccupied. So right here, that you are like hiding under the tree, the ghost face already got a big stalk on you while leaning. So you were either about to be exposed or very close to be exposed, which the ghost face doesn't know about an alien trick. So he just popped expose, and now you know that you need to loop and loop like in a safe manner, not even allow a single basic attack to hit you. So you pre-drop the pallet, you just ran. You don't even look back because you know you have the window here. So now that you are here, and you see the ghost face through the window, instead of like playing distance, you are just camping this pallet. The number one thing that makes chases not last very long, especially against better killers, is this particular behavior of camping a pallet or camping a window just because it's the closest good resource that you have to you. Now you gotta realize that you are playing Shack. So Shack, so this is the window side. This is the one with a pallet. Wall goes like this, like this, like this. Ghost face is here. You were here, and you ran like this to the pallet. Then you just camped it and you're planning on dropping it. So instead of doing this, which just wasted the best pallet in the game for really just a 3-second extra time on your chase, what you could have done is to milk the structure. So what I mean by milking the structure is abusing what the structure has to give you. So first, you don't even know if this ghost face is bamboozle or not, so probably seeing how or what will happen if you vault to the window will be smart. And the best first step you could have gotten instead of going like this to the pallet will be actually to just go over here, because you were seeing him through the window. So the moment you're pathing here and you see the ghost face coming here, you should be able to look with the camera from like above now, like in front of you, to see like him taking this path. And the moment until he appears here, now you have time to either go like this into the pallet or go like this into the window. I'd recommend the window path because it doesn't waste nothing, plus it's closer, so there's a higher chance of succeeding. However, a big key crucial thing you need to be worried when you're doing this, which is a possible mind game coming on this wall from the killer. However, it's Ghostface, it was a very, 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 very weak Ghostface, so I highly doubt you'll do this. But anyway, just something for you to know that next time against a better killer that you'll play eventually, do not fall for that. And then after vaulting this window, the naturally killers have two reactions. They either go like this to vault the window right behind you, or they back-to-back like this and they chase you like this. Doesn't matter which approach they choose, you have both safe options to take to extend like the time that you are milking this chase on this ghost face. So you can either go like this to the window and go back this position, or just go back to the pallet, or to even like go over here, back wall into pallets is a more advanced pathing, but something very strong once the survivor masters it. Or if the killer is going like this to go through the window, you can actually just go like this into this pathing again, or you can take like this into the window, which also works. Not as good, but it also works. But again, like I'm showing you, any of these options would have been way better than just doing this: stop, drop, run away. Like literally any other thing would be better than camping, because when you camp the pallet, especially such a good pallet like Shack, yeah, of course you were not dead, and of course you didn't die during these shades, so in your head you're thinking like, wow, I played like good enough. I mean, technically yes, because his ghost face was awful, but but I mean, against a slightly better kill, this sort of stuff are not gonna work as much. Now, after Shack segment, which let's call it that, the moment you left Shack, you're just like going straight line to the first thing that pops up in your windows of opportunity, which is this window. And eventually see the pallet, so you just keep the window to go here, which is fine. This positioning is very interesting because it's rare that I see beginner players knowing this positioning, so this positioning itself is good. However, how you path into the palette, not looking at it, was the weird part for me. Because normally when you play in these positionings, and let me show you in game. Let me see what I can find. Palette structure, palette gem structure on this seed, just so I can show you the exact same structure and not. I don't think that's it. No, that's an Osmond loop. Okay. Let me see if I can find a palette gem really quick. That's also not it. This is also not. Oh, never mind. This is it. Okay, okay. So basically, when you did this, like that's good. However, what you did afterward was doing this.
Yeah.
Which you turn a complete blind eye to your off angle, which was that position.
Yeah.
So instead of you doing this like you did, could have done something like this, either like going like this to guarantee that you'll still like have vision of the ghost face who's doing or whatever. Or if you still want to go through the palette, you at least will look like this.
Yeah.
So that way you were able to keep track if the ghost face was actually chasing, or if it was back to back in the last second. Like it's important, like you keep an eye on the killer and one on yourself. But of course, to be able to do these path things without like actually looking where you're going, like takes skill and takes like slightly map knowledge, which is something that of course you can practice by yourself.
Yeah.
And over time you will improve for sure. But again, the key crucial part here was when you did this. Like this is turning a blind eye at the very key moment that good killers will definitely do this to you.
Yeah.
Which is they will pretend to like this and it will back to back, like they will do like a little back to back, and it will appear here. And at the moment that you think that you're committing here, and then you just do this, you're not gonna see the back to back, and you're gonna appear like right behind you, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Because you were not looking. But anyway, so after this section, you pre-drop the palette, you go long run, you see the kill with troubleshooter, which completely carried this decision of yours, even though the killer decides not to kick it because he sees you moving preemptively, moving away. Then you go to this filler. Now this filler is a very horrendously safe filler against them one killer, and let me show you why. So first, if you look at it, this is a very long rotation, like single palette loop. Like to nowadays DBD, this is like I don't even know how this is in the game still. Now, of course, most killers can just shoot stuff through it and whatever, and their movement as well wasn't too good at all. Like notice those movements where you just do this. So let me repeat. So you were here and you move wide like this, and you adjust by doing this and doing this. Like this is how you're moving.
Yeah.
Like you are just going like really wide, and you're like, oh, I'm too wide. Then you adjust. While your goal is not to do these like tap movings, your objective is to keep your straight line as possible. So if you're going wide to avoid an object, then you're gonna go a straight line to the point where you're not gonna get stuck by an object, and then you're gonna go a straight line to where you're not gonna get stuck into a straight line. Now, of course, here, like you don't need to do like this sideway here. You can just do diagonal. So you're gonna do something like this into this.
Yeah.
Which is slightly much better, but anyway, so now you're playing these, you are just looking over it, which is also very simple and very easy because there's no really big object blocking it. This pre-drop was just clutch. If it was half a second later, you will be dead right now. But you pre-drop it, exposed goes off, Ghostface drops you, so it's a successful chase. Now for the rest of the game, nothing else will happen but this segment. So the segment I found very funny. Because I was saying that like when people heard of the needing to learn to move efficiently, they 90% of the time just start doing this, which is exactly what you did. Which is not so great because yes, you can see in front of you, but what if the kill is right behind you stalking, or what if the kill is one of the sides?
Yeah.
Like it's important that you are able to check like 360 around you without like minimizing. Like
that's good movement.
Now, of course, this is too much. Like you don't need to get like as good as this like yet. Like of course, this is like the end goal, or at least what you should be aiming for. Because nowadays, what an average survivor is by today's standards is definitely able to do like this with losing like very little movement.
Yeah.
And even like switching through check spots. Adjusting properly, like not getting stuck on stuff that's like considered now normal. But anyway, so you're going through here, you go through main, blah blah blah. You go here towards the save. So I just want to go back to the moment where you become exposed, because now you're just looking forward. Now you look sideways, blah blah, and looking into it, and you didn't see this ghost face. But what if I told you that I saw him?
Yeah.
You're like,
He was
wait,
obviously
what?
to the right somewhere, but I missed him.
Prove it, right? So pay attention to this frame. Wait. Oh, it looked like... Okay, never mind, no.
It wasn't
it was
him?
him to the left.
Yeah.
No, it actually wasn't him, but you do get exposed. Right here, and where does he come from? Yeah, he comes
Behind
from
me.
behind you, again. So basically, let's go back. So this last 20 seconds, you're just looking forward, like you look sideways, now you keep looking forward.
Was that him in the middle building there? Was that his red stain? If you look in the building, is that that's not him?
No, that's the fireplace of the I can show you. That's like literally the normal color of like inside his house because of the fireplace and like this stuff. And yeah, with the filter this looks slightly too strong. Again, this is the only section of the map that this is like weird. But I mean, yeah, what you saw was from this angle, and I suppose you saw that. So yeah, it looks like it's a strong color, but it's actually from the fireplace. But anyway, no, I'm pretty sure he was like right behind you. But again, the moment that you're just doing this to check like what's going on, you are leaving another dead angle that you haven't checked in a while, which is this one. And especially against stalking killers, Ghostface, Myers, whatever, it is a very key angle that you want to start looking more because for sure what happened was this Ghostface saw you crossing towards the safe. He didn't have the power ready yet, so he was just chasing you from afar, of course, but he was chasing you. Now eventually when he had the power ready, he cloaked in, then he starts stalking you. And because this guy is awful at the game, he couldn't even find a structure to lean stalk to expose you quicker, so he just stalked normally, which is why it took forever. Then eventually the expose popped when you were close to the save, which then of course he's still chasing you while doing this, so it's natural that he wasn't like too far away from you. Now of course you ran into this dead zone, so you lost all the distance that you could have to loop this style. However, the timing at where you get exposed, it's still savable. However, your reaction was not the greatest. So basically, in this position, you could have chose to do this, or to, with the camera thingy, just look back to see like where these killers expose you from, and then take a pathing properly to where he's stalking you from. But instead, you panicked and you moved like around his back wall and try to do like some goofy stuff, which naturally didn't work. Which is what I meant with the.
In this situation, would you recommend still going for the unhook or leaving it? Because she was on, obviously, two.
I mean, it depends if you have any idea what your survivors
teammates are. Yeah.
Based on the fact that none of them are doing generators, none of them are doing totems, none of them are doing nothing.
Yeah.
It means that there is a very high likely that they are like nearby her, which means that like you didn't properly need to do this save now, because if you do, you are trading, which is not really something you want to do on purpose.
Yeah.
You could have definitely just took a left, extend the pathing, loop this guy till eternity. However, this pathing just ruined it all. However, the next mistake that is subtle, but this mistake actually cost you one of your hooks, or the hook you got actually, was when you got down, you didn't crawl away from closer to walls. So basically, there's this good habit, and that exists for a reason, especially now with the addition of background player and sniper flashlights being buffed. It means that like a lot of people are taking the playstyle of background player and the flashlight to be the savior of when a killer is starting to pick up a survivor, to be like the holy grail of like saving teammates, whatever. And basically what I mean with that is that, in case you don't know, if a survivor blinds a killer at a good timing when the animation of picking up a survivor from the ground, it technically becomes stun, which then after the animation is over is gonna drop the survivor. It's the same as if you did a decisive strike or the killer just dropped because he couldn't reach a hook effect. Then you are able to get a second chance. So most people, especially at higher level of play, or medium to higher level of play, there's always one guy with this build, because as long as like a person that's going to die knows where to go to die, to make it so it's hard for a killer to pick this person up, the killer is forced to not pick this person up, because if he does, there's a high chance he's going to get flashlight saved, which means all this chase that he has is going to get wasted for nothing. So he's forced to slug and then to find this other survivor to then pressure. So it's basically a big like macro skeptical of things. But long story short, if you crawl away from walls and if you crawl away from objects that could allow the killer to look into it, not get flashlight saved, you are just enabling your teammates of being able to help you and to rescue you when the killer starts to pick you up if they're using this playstyle.
Yep.
The same goes if you go down closer to a pallet and instead of crawling away to the pallet, people crawl away from the pallet. That's another mistake as well. Because you crawl into the pallet, So the survivor that is more experienced could even try a CJ tech, or if he's not as experienced, you could at least use it when the killer doesn't find no one else and he decides to pick you and you are under the pallet. He has to make a choice. He has to choose of like picking you up and risking a survivor being nearby to drop the pallet on the killer's face and you get saved, or actually no one is there and the killer's just wasting time, but at least you're punishing the killer even though you are dead anyway. So it's good to know like these positions to take, because most people just don't really like know that, which is exactly what happens, because instead of you running away, you just stand still here, which after some time he decides to pick you up. And when he does pick you up, look how we tried to pick, or look to what
they tried to save me.
He actually looked into the wall as close as possible, to even if the teammates were coming for a flashlight save, and there were two of them, none of them could save you because he could look at the wall.
Yeah.
So this is, I would say, arguably your biggest misplay this whole game. Because if you just didn't do this, you were actually going to be able to get saved. And this situation now that's going to happen afterwards, none of this would have happened if you just walked away from the wall. But anyway, it's fine. Eventually, you get saved. The other person trades for you because he's partially saving you. Then he drops you. Then you just do a gen, and unfortunately, game is over. I think. Let me just double check. So the Ghostface is there, but then he drops you, so there's not really a chase anymore. However, the last mistake I really wanted to cover is this position. So if you are doing the main generator on this house, on this map, on this building, on this particular seed, and by the way, this gen is another one of those gens that are always going to be there.
Yep.
Exactly the same position, same turning, same radius, everything the same. You are looking like this.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that unless the killer is a teleport killer or a shooting stuff killer, no killer can not damage you or affect you from down there.
Yeah.
So what you should be looking is something like this, so you see the only corridor that they can actually come from to damage you. Because the moment that you're looking like this, especially against a cloaked or a stealth Ghostface, you can just perfectly go stealth and go unnoticed from here, because again, you are looking like this, so you don't even see to
it's pointless.
Left. Then you can just sneak here and then grab you and insta-kill you even though you are healthy, which is something you don't really want to happen, because getting an insta-down or giving a free down for the killer, doesn't matter if it's the beginning of the game or the middle of the game or the end of the game, it's always a bad mistake. So it's important that you don't allow the killer to turn the game into a winning position for him just because you were careless, not looking where he could actually come from, and you were looking somewhere else randomly. So for the game itself, there's not much to talk about.
Okay, so that was it for the session. I got quite a bit out of that, and I hope that you guys can take something away from that as well. A lot of it is quite basic, but I do know that sometimes we forget to do the basics. I know I do. Keeping our loops tight and our movement efficient is something that we should all do and we all know to do, but that we just forget to actually put into practice sometimes. So it was good to get a reminder. And there was actually a lot of new information in there, which I was unaware of, stuff like camera angles, positioning when downed. So I actually got quite a bit out of this. I hope that you guys can take something out of it as well. I will be putting everything in the description, the links for the filters. He also did give me some Steam guides to remember the guaranteed spawns on the maps. So if you want to check those out, I'll put the links in the description for those too. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you like it, please comment. Let me know how you feel about it, how I can improve, and potentially we'll look at doing another one and a guide for killers as well. So thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Just before I go, guys, I'd like to say a quick thank you to Simplex, who was my coach on this video. He was very professional, great value for money, and just overall a very knowledgeable guy when it came to Dead by Daylight. If you do want to get coaching, I'd absolutely recommend him. I'm going to leave his link in the description below, so check him out. And if you did like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers, guys. See you later.